Hello. In a previous video, I made a very simple Express.js web server that runs on localhost 3003 port, and it uses Core's cross-origin resource sharing settings to restrict the origins that can call this API server and get a list of 17 random numbers on the slash path. It restricts that to localhost addresses and Google and vccs.edu domains and subdomains. And so that hardened the security a little bit here. But this remains a Node.js app. What I mean by that is when I want to run this app, I use npm run dev, and that runs a script that I've set up to run Node with the watch flag, and I run my server.js code. So my code is right here, but I rely on this Node environment in order to run this app locally. So what I'm going to do in this video is to Dockerize this app with a simple Docker file and a couple of scripts. So this is a very common task to do with a Node app because as opposed to running like say a Node app with Vite or something like that, where you're going to build your website into a static result that you then upload to some hosting platform. This server is going to have to run 24/7 in order to provide this API service. So that's a common application for a Dockerized setup where you could get all the dependencies for this app installed inside of a Docker container so that you can easily replicate it across different systems and not rely on specific versions of Node and specific packages that are installed. You can set all of that up with Docker. So what I'm going to do here is just create a new Docker file, and I'll create a scripts folder with a couple of scripts. So I'll do a build script, and we'll run the sh shebang so that it's going to be executable in git bash. You may have to add the execute privilege to this script if you're using Linux or Mac. So that would be like a chmod plus x command on the file name. So I'll do a run.sh as well. So basic build and run scripts, and then the Docker file is going to be based on a Node.js container, so that Node is already installed inside of the image when we start a container. So I'm going to go to Docker Hub and search for Node, and I'll find the official Node image, and I can click on tags, and this is going to be just a little virtual computer with Node.js installed. So I'm going to look for the LTS version of Node. So if I search for Node, I'll find that the LTS version is 22.14. So I'm going to look for 22.14 in here. And I'm also going to Control F on the page for Alpine to find a small version, because if I look at these, this one is 360 megabytes, but if I go down to an Alpine version, that might be all I need, and that's just about 50 megabytes. So I'm going to copy that tag. It's going to have Node 22, and it's going to be an Alpine 321 version of the operating system. So I can go into VS Code and do from that tag, and then I'm just going to copy a couple of things into the container, but first I'm going to practice. So I'm going to practice running with this so that I can be very clear on what it is that I want to happen. I want the code to go into a certain place in the OS, but I don't know how the OS is laying out the file system. So I'm first going to make a docker run command, and I'm going to do --rm and -it and -name, and I'm going to give it the name of nc for node container. I'll use that image, and I will run the sh command. So let's see how that goes. We'll do /script/run.sh, and we get a shell, which is good. So we'll say ls, okay, cd into home, or ls into home. See what's in there. We have a node folder, so there's probably a node user. We can go cd into home node ls. There's nothing in node, so we can use that home folder. Can we do a switch user su into the node user? Yes, we can. So who am I? I'm the node user. So now we know there's a node user and they have a home folder, so we can take the advantage of not running as a root inside the container, which is better for security if we can manage it. So we're going to do user node, and we'll do workdir home node, and then we'll do copy a couple of things. We'll need our package.json to install our dependencies, and then we'll need our server, which is what actually runs. So we will copy package.json, and we could bring package lock.json too, but we should only really strictly need package.json to make this work. We can run npm I or npm install. Then we can copy server.js to dot. So remember, dot here is the working directory, which is home node. So we're going into home node there. And then we can make the entry point be node, so that every time this runs, it's going to run the node program, and then the default command for the node program is going to be server.js, except I'm also going to want to add that watch flag. So -- watch server.js. We could also do in npm, we could change the scripts here to say like npm run dev as the command, but this should work just as well. So we're going to run that server.js file, and so the container is going to have an operating system, it's going to have node 22, and then it's going to run our server file. So all it needs to have is the container plus the JS and the package.json to install the dependencies, and it should be good to go. So I'll hit Control D here a couple times, and then I can change my build command to build this image. So we'll do a docker build -t for tag, and we can call it the numbers API, and we can give it the tag of latest, and we can build at dot, and let's try that, /script/build.sh. So it built fine. Let's see if we can now run the container, and we'll call it the numbers API C for container, and we won't run sh, we'll just run the default command, and we don't need interactive. We can just let it print out the output itself, and we can remove it once it's been exited. So we'll do a run sh. Says that this is running on 3003, and we get no output. So that should be familiar if you've used Docker run before, because there's a port exposed, but we haven't connected that port to our host system. So we'll need to add a -p flag and pass the port 3003 to 3003 inside the container. Then we can hopefully rerun this Docker script and click on 3003, and our app functions perfectly now. And it's all inside Docker, so this is now no longer dependent on the node that we have on our Windows operating system. It's dependent on the node that's inside the Docker container that is running. And you can see in here that I have the API latest is running, and it's going to exit when I Control C, because I had that remove flag. But I could also run it in the background by doing like the -d for detached flag as well. So now I'll get my terminal back, but the application will continue to run, and I can go and talk to that app as I like. So that has been how to Dockerize a Node Express app, a basic Node Express app. So you should be able to now share this code and this Docker file and be able to have someone else get this up and running on their computer if they have Docker installed. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.